Today I'll show you how I am chopping my own firewood from the tree that I had to cut because the tree was really old, and for safety reason I had to cut the tree. So this is a maple tree, and the tree probably was about 90 years old. And I have another tree which probably a sister tree was planted at the same time. The few branches was dying, actually dead, few branch last summer I saw. So I probably have to have that tree service people cut this spring. Here, as you can see, that piled up logs that I had chopped from the maple tree. Also, I have other trees that I had chopped to create firewood. There are more firewoods piled up here, more maple and other tree. Also this side I have a few logs from walnut. Here's a close picture of a walnut. Walnut is a very good quality timber that you can have in the US, and unfortunately I had to have turned to a firewood because small scale logging is almost impossible in the US. It might not be financially reasonable to have a logger to come and split few walnut, but when you have to go buy lumber from lumber store for doing a home construction or anything, you would pay a high price for good quality wood. Unfortunately, this is reality that you have to make it a firewood from the good quality tree that you have around your house. So this is another area that I had piled up some smaller branches cut off on a log stand. So this is I used to start up the fire, and the bigger log I use in the wood burning stove for generating heat. So I do have electric and oil burn furnace, and since in a property where I have bunch of trees, so the branches will fall and I have to cut down tree because they are aged in a way that it's time to cut down for safety reason. So if I had tree service people to take all the cut off trunks, they will charge more. So in this way I'm saving some money keeping that logs to myself, and also by chopping to firewoods I'm using this to generate heat to heat the house in the winter. So in some sense this is green, and also it is economical. So in next scene I will show you about the I'll talk to you also about the wood burning stove that I use. So this is the wood burning stove that I use. Is one of the best in the US. I will post a video about this wood burning stove and provide you more information on that. If you are interested, please come back and watch that video. And this is a heavy cast iron wood burning stove, so this is good enough to provide heat in a house of 2,000 square feet area, so it's pretty strong. In next step I will show you some of the tools that I use. So these are the tools that I use to chop all this wood. Of course I didn't do just by myself. I had help, two people. We cut down all these logs, and we'll continue to do rest of them. So in the center, obviously, you know, that's the axe. So this is not the proper axe to cut large size logs, but this is I have. Usually the proper axe would be a little bit of a thicker at the end where you hammer it. So usually I use at the edge, I put the axe, and then I tap it with the smaller hammer, and once it cuts into the log a little bit, then I use the heavy hammer to create some pressure, and eventually the log will split. If log is not splitting, that means that very strong. So usually I use that one of those wedge on the left you see. So I insert them to the crack that already opened a little bit, and use one of the hammer to further drive in the wedge into the log. Eventually the pressure that creates will split the log. And splitting the log is kind of like cutting a cake from a round cake. So as you know that if you try to cut the cake, the first slice to cut a clean cut and pull out the slice is very difficult. Once you've done that, the rest of the slice you can cut very easily. So very similar concept goes here. The first section, you know, of the log that you have will be difficult to cut, but the rest of the part that you will be able to cut easily. So if you haven't subscribed my channel, kindly subscribe and leave any comment if you have. I'll be happy to answer. Thank you.